The UN has been sending Western tax collectors to Africa to force the continent to pay their foreign debts. And this organization is called Tax Inspectors Without Borders. And if you think this isn't real, here is their website. They are implementing sales tax, minimum tax rates, taking African businesses to court for tax evasion, and they are bragging about the billions they collect from the continent. What the UN does is they send forensic tax auditors from the West to African nations to close loopholes, audit businesses, and implement tax laws that extract as much money as possible from the local population in order to pay back IMF and World Bank loans. And they are very good at what they do. Tunisia was one of the first countries to work with the UN tax collectors in 2015. And since then, the Tunisian government has increased tax revenue over 50% relative to GDP. Recently, you've probably seen different tax reform laws in West Africa, Kenya, among others, and all were pretty unpopular, but they were implemented with a carrot and stick methodology. If the African leaders don't work with the Western tax collectors, they face sanctions. But if they play nice with the tax collectors, they get more loans from the IMF. And you've probably figured out this game already. The West is getting the African nations to run up large debts, then training the African governments to collect the interest payments from the local population.
Thanks for joining me. May God bless you. So, Nigeria is at the verge of collapse. Can you imagine? Nigeria federal government, they borrowed 10 fucking billion US dollar from World Bank and IMF. This current administration, led by President Bola Tinubu, they blamed former administration led by Muhammadu Buhari for borrowing $3 billion from IMF during the COVID-19 lockdown. But they borrowed extra $7 billion. When they was busy borrowing all those money, we was busy asking them, how do you plan to pay this money back? They did not answer our question. And they did not take us serious as citizens of Nigeria. Now they want to milk us, we the citizen, to pay money we don't know anything about. Monkey the walk, babu the shop. So they are forcing everybody from January 1st to pay income tax. So if you have like 10 million naira in your account, you are going to pay income tax of 25%. Let's assume that you have 10 million in your account. 10 million minus 75%. Let me say 75%. That is 2.5 million you will pay to the federal government. Even if you have 10 million naira in your account, which is not the gain, the income you made, what they call it is income tax. So federal government decided to do it in a brutal way. Even if you have 10 million naira currently in your account, you must give 2.5 million for income tax. They don't know, they don't want to understand how much you make from the business. There is nothing like your own capital. There is nothing like your own capital. Even if you sell your land, 10 million, you have to give 2.5 million to federal government for income tax. Oh, and Nigerians, nobody is talking about it. The celebrities, the news channels, everywhere is mute. Everywhere is quiet. Everywhere is deserted. My only happiness is that when we say this regime is worst, and this regime, bastard, is better than them, those tribal bigots that always say the Igbos are the most tribalistic people in the world, they say that the Igbos are most tribalistic people in the world, but since 1970 till to date, they did not give Igbo man space to be a president of Nigeria. They did not give Igbo man space to be a vice president of Nigeria, but they keep on telling us that we are tribalistic. Even the head of natural security, there is no one single Igbo man there. From custom to army to police to navy to road safety to security special, nothing. But they say that we are tribalistic. So who is tribalistic? My happiness is that everybody is going to pay this tax when it starts. Both the Yorubas, both the Hausas, both the Efik, both the Ejo. Everybody will feel the heat of being in Nigeria this time. For a long time ago, people are shouting Nigeria have spoiled. They don't know that something huge is coming. They don't know that something worse than worse is coming. They borrowed money and used the money to buy houses in Washington, in Paris, in London, in Dubai, in Doha, all over the world. Go to Senegal and see how much Nigeria politicians are spending to build estates in Senegal. Nigeria politicians are owner of the houses in Senegal with our hard-earned money. And some useless citizen will came online with their remaining 2% data to defend evil politician in internet. Because they are receiving some peanuts. 2027 is general election. If you like, don't start protesting heavily so that government will implement online voting. INEC should reform Nigeria voting system. So if our candidate fail, it will be open to the world that our candidate really failed. If you are not hiding anything, if you are not tribalistic idiot, if you are not a foolish man, you the leaders of Nigeria, useless people with empty brain. If you people really care for Nigeria, you have to find alternative to pay those loans you collected from World Bank and IMF, because when you are going to collect those loans, the citizens of Nigeria are asking you, how are you going to pay back this loan? You keep mute. Now you want to tax the whole Nigeria income tax. Income tax. Do you know how many natural resources we have in Nigeria? Where is our oil money? Where is the gold? Where is the zinc? Where is the lithium? How much federal government are making? How much is the tax Dangote industry are paying to Nigeria every year? How much does MTN, Company, Glo, Etisalat, Ethel, how much tax they are paying to Nigeria every year? And where is that money? The revenue you collected from Nigeria Custom Clearance Department, where is that revenue? Where is the money you got from removing subsidy in Nigeria? Where is that money? You guys have looted the money completely. You have looted our natural treasure down. You have looted everything completely. And you are telling us to pay income tax so that you can continue looting. What I expected this useless federal government to do was to implement heavy punishment for anyone who stole public fund. Even if you steal one couple from national fund, you deserve execution. You deserve heavy punishment. You deserve rest of your life imprisonment. How can a politician become billionaire overnight? Because you occupy some public office. How much is your salary? Our senators, how much is their salary? 14 million they claim every month. So with that 14 million, they can buy luxurious cars, like even Dinomilai. What is his business? How did he make so much money? Huh? Stealing from government, isn't not it? Stealing from the people. All of them are thieves. And Nigeria leaders, both the PDP, both the APC, all of them are national criminals. international thieves. They want us to pay tax. So if I suffer to make 10 million, after working under the sun as a farmer and make 10 million naira, I have to give 2.5 million to useless government that does not contribute anything to the welfare of my life. Nigerians are jokers. Nigerian youth, they are the most weakest youth, the most useless and the serious youth in the world. Even if to speak out in social media, they cannot. They would rather work online. They would rather work on TikTok. They give us TikTok and they exchange our brain. So we like to follow people who stream for fun, but we don't like to follow anything that will benefit our country as one. It shows that Nigeria is not one country. So stop deceiving yourself by saying we are one Nigeria. Who are you and who is one Nigeria? How can Nigeria ever be one? Nigeria can never be one country, whether you like it or not. Never. One Nigeria is the most fraudulent organization I have ever seen in Africa.